It feels like it's been forever since I made a video. But I'm back, and today's story is a Todoroki X listener, written by @QuietLegends over on Tumblr. This is Soba Confessions. Shoto Todoroki had two consistent things in his life: his rising hero career and you, his loyal sidekick. You had been the first to join Shoto when he opened his own agency, and you had been there, right by his side ever since. Until you weren't. With Shoto's help, you'd been able to grow as your own hero, and so when another agency called asking for a team-up with you, he'd been happy. At first anyways. The mission was only a week long, but during that week, a few things slowly became clear to him. The place felt entirely too empty, or maybe it was him who felt empty without you. Whatever the case, he didn't like it one bit. He constantly found himself checking his phone to see if you'd call with an update. He got distracted in his paperwork, wondering what you were doing at that very moment. He could barely focus on his patrols, because everything he saw reminded him of you in some way. This never happened before, but you'd also never been gone this long either. That's how he found himself counting down the days until you'd be back. When that long week finally did pass, and you returned, Shoto called you into his office. He had been thinking of what to say to you all morning, but nothing seemed quite right. Pacing didn't help, yet he couldn't stop his feet from nervously treading a line in front of his desk. He wasn't even sure why he was so nervous. A knock on his door, and the pro hero flinched. His nerves were on fire today, and no amount of ice could cool them. He opened the door to reveal that soft smile that you always wore around him. He loved that smile. It always made him feel a cozy warmness that his left side could never compare to. You leaned against the frame and crossed your arms. "Hey, Sho," he grinned. "Miss me?" That's what it was. He just missed you. Perfectly reasonable for a longtime friends to miss each other, right? Now that you were back, he could get back to work, like usual. Except a small something was gnawing at the back of his mind, and it threw off his whole demeanor. Was it the way you were staring at him? Did you always look this beautiful? Did he always think you looked this beautiful? Sho? Shoto blinked, eyes finding your own. He had just been standing there staring at you. What was he gonna say? Everything he thought of had vanished at the moment you walked in. He needed to say something. Anything. Soba. Okay, well, maybe not anything. But that was all he could think of at the moment. And the words just kept rushing out like a collapsing dam. "I like Soba." He practically yelled it at you. Cocking your head, you pulled off the door frame and tossed a thumb over your shoulder with a laugh. He always loved the way you laugh. You want me to go get you some Soba?" "Yes. Wait, no." One of his hands darted through his hair as his brows furrowed in confusion. "I meant, do you like Soba?" "Yeah, I guess." You shrugged. "Well, what's with all the Soba talk?" He huffed, turning instead to stare out the large window in the office. Why was talking with you suddenly so difficult? He loved talking with you. You were the one person he always wanted to talk to, and be near, and see every day. The two of you had been friends for so long that he never really thought there was anything more to your relationship. But now, that was all he could think of. Ever since you left, all he'd been doing was thinking about you, and it was driving him over the edge. Standing here, staring at you, it finally dawned on him that he wanted more. He needed more. All he had to do was close the distance and... "You okay, Sho?" You interrupted his thoughts, coming over to the desk where he stood rigid. "You seem a bit spacey today." "Yes." It was now or never. "Soba, let's get sober together." "Sure. Although, it's a bit early for lunch. But if you want to eat, we can eat." No, you weren't understanding him. "Together." "Yeah, we can go together." With a chuckle, you turned. I don't think I'll ever understand your obsession with Soba. Wait, hold on. He grabbed your arm, shaking his hand. I need to start over. With what? You glanced down at the ice-cold hand gripping your arm. Tiny icicles had grown on the back of his hand, and he quickly tore away to brush them off. Something kept forcing the words back into his throat. He wasn't easily flustered, and the fact that he was this discomposed annoyed him to no end. It was just you. But that was the thing, wasn't it? You. Relationships were hard for someone as closed off as Shoto, but with you, everything seemed brighter, better, happier. You made him feel special, something few people have ever managed to do. A tightness pulled at his chest, and he finally gathered up the courage to speak again. I like Soba, he said, after a deep breath, a slight frown on his lips. I really like Soba. Yes, that part I know. But, he was never great with words to begin with, and now, voicing his thoughts seemed like a monumental task. Anxiety snaked its way around his chest, trying to tell him all the possible consequences of confessing, and just how much of a disaster this could turn into. Nevertheless, he wasn't one to quit, so he punched through it and continued. I also like you, and I think I like you more than Soba. Wow, more than Soba, huh? That must be a lot. Your smile faltered as you digested his words. Wait, are you saying... I think so. His own confusion brought that smile back to your face. A date, right? That's what I asked? He spread it to your cheeks at the sort of confession. You knew Shoto well, even if he hid most of his emotions behind that wall of his. But this came as a surprise. For years you pushed your own feelings down, because you never believed he would reciprocate them. He was your friend. You didn't want to lose him if it turned out he didn't feel the same way. The safest option was to keep quiet. But seeing him here, so obviously flustered as he tried to ask you out, was something you'd wished for so long. Unable to contain yourself, you threw your body against his in a tight hug. You really like me more than Soba? You asked gently, not wanting to jinx anything. Yes. His eyes were uncharacteristically wide, almost apprehensive, as his arms hesitantly wrapped around you. Was that a yes to the date? Oh, right. Pulling back a few inches, you looked at him. I'd like that. Let's go get some Soba together. Together. He finally smiled. I like the sound of that. And that's the end of this video. Hopefully you all enjoyed, and be sure to check out the author and the rest of their works in the links below.